see is opening of the sea of time, and we can see through opening the sea of time, we can see the light of the infinite. So this is the major frame of our conversation today.
Okay then.
So I'm glad that you can see the text, and you can also open a book if the text is too little and you cannot see the letters. So this is Exodus 15. And do you see the painting also? Do you see the picture as well?
No, no, it's not up as
It's
yet.
not open. There's not streaming yet. Yes, only in 1 minute there will be a stream. Now there's a stream. Do you see the stream? Do you
Yes, I'm
see
seeing
this?
it. Yes, I'm
Very
seeing
good.
it.
Excellent, excellent. So we can look at the painting until more friends will join the conversation. And here's Jill. Jill, good morning. Hello, Jill. I hope you can have a sound connection this morning. And Fernando is here. Good morning, Fernando. I hope you can hear us.
Hello, how are you? Hello,
Hello,
everybody.
Jill. How are you? Good morning, Fernando. We have a friend from Jamaica this morning.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you. Can you please mention your name, please? The friend from Jamaica?
Karen.
Karen. Thank you, Karen. Karen from Jamaica. It's the first time he has a voice connection, so they're very happy. Thank you. Thank you. And how was your weekend, Jill, Fernando, Karen?
I had a great weekend. I hiked some mountains with some friends yesterday. It was really pretty, and it was a nice weekend.
Thank you. And Fernando, how was your weekend? If you have a voice connection with us this morning. Excellent, we see. Okay, so who has the text open and who would like to start reading the text? This is Exodus 15, part of Exodus 15. Who has it open either by a book or by text?
I
And
have, I have it open.
you have it? You have it. Excellent.
I'm gonna.
Excellent.
It's Exodus 1 through 19.
Have Exodus 15 from verse 1 until 19. Yes,
Okay.
19 verses. Yes, please.
Okay, Exodus 15, 1 through 19. Okay. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spoke, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he is highly exalted, and the horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. This is my God, and I will glorify him, my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts hath he cast into the sea, and his chosen captains are sunk into the Red Sea. The deeps cover them, they went down into the depths like a stone. Thy right hand, O Lord, glorious in power, thy right hand, O Lord, dasheth in pieces the enemy. And in the greatness of thine excellency thou overthrowest them that rise up against thee. Thou sendest forth thy wrath, it consumeth them as stubble. And with the blast of thy nostrils the waters were piled up, the flood stood upright as a heap, the deeps were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil, my lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Oh, you said through 19, right?
Yes, if
Okay.
possible.
Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them, they sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the mighty? Who is like unto thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? Thou stretchest out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou in thy love hast led the people that thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength to thy holy habitation. The peoples have heard, they tremble. Pangs have taken hold on the inhabitants of Philistia. Then, then were the chiefs of Edom affrighted. The mighty men of Moab trembling taketh hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan are melted away. Terror and dread falleth upon them by the greatness of thine arm. They are as still as a stone. Till the people pass over, O Lord, till the people pass over that thou hast gotten. Thou bringest them in and plantest them in the mountain of thine inheritance, the place, O Lord, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in, the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands have established. The Lord shall reign forever and ever. For the horses of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought back the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel walked on dry land in the midst of the sea.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much. And here we have a painting by Dr. Lidia. She's a doctor and she also paints. And I'll try to get a full frame on the picture that everybody also on YouTube could have an access. I think this is a full frame we can get at the moment. Yes, this is the opening of Yam Suf, Kriyat Yam Suf. In English, this occasion is named the opening of the Red Sea, like it has a color. But in Hebrew, it has a meaning, Kriyat Yam Suf. Suf is a reed, some kind of a plant that grows next to the water, and I will write it here. 1 second, I'll take a pen and write it, and of course you will soon have the opportunity to ask questions and to comment. So in Hebrew, we call it Kriyat Yam Suf. Second, the pen. Pen is not able at the moment. Second, excuse me. I'm sorry. The pen is not able at the moment. For some kind of reason, it's not clear. Please excuse me. If you have question, you are more than can you please ask questions, because at the moment I don't have the board connected. So I will be appreciate if you have something to say until I'll find the connection here, because it's not there.
I have a comment. I think that painting is amazing.
Yes,
It's really pretty.
thank you so much. I just wanted to, for all of us to think about the fact that this is not historical event in history. The opening of the Red Sea or the opening of Yam Suf is something that we all are going through. It's not historical event. To open for us the Sea of Time, it means to, what does it mean? Because if we don't open the Sea of Time, we can drown. Isn't that so?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is not historical event in this, we just don't read about history event or historical event. This is our life. If we don't open, and the question is, can we open? What do you think? Can we open? This is the opening where we have a board, Kriyat Yam Suf, the opening of the Red Sea. Suf, Yam Suf. Yam is sea, and Suf is not just reed, biologically, reed, sorry, but reed. It also means in Hebrew, sof. Sof is end. So what does it mean to open the Red Sea, or opening Yam Suf is to open the end? Because in a way we live here finite life, or life that has end. When the day expires, we move to another kind of being. So what does it mean to open the Red Sea or to open Yam Suf? Is to open the end sea, the sea of time. And when we open, and why do I say we open? Because it dependent on our awareness. It is not a miracle that happened. in history. Some people tend to see this as a miracle. Do we understand that Yam Suf is not just a name, because it also to open the end of time, to open the sea, the sea that seals the time. Do we understand the concept?
I think so.
Fernando, do we understand that concept? Okay, so we do understand. Kri'a, it means to tear, to tear. Kri'a, kri'a, I would say this is a better A. Kri'a, this is opening. Opening or tearing. Let's say like this, to open, to tear apart. This is to open the sea of time, because the time is like a veil that separates us from the eternal, from the infinite good and wisdom. Because the daily activity or the daily happenings is like many waters that separates us. We think that what we exposed in our daily life is a finite, and this is it, and this is concrete reality, and there is nothing beyond something that we can see or touch or sense. There are no life beyond senses. And the opening of the Yam Suf, it means that we can have, first of all, we can open this. This is not a seal wall. We can open it, and there are life beyond the senses, beyond the tangible. Not just what is tangible is reality. This is the first concept I would like to discuss with you today. The
Okay.
question, yes, yes, Jill.
Okay. So, okay, I guess. So this is something that you like they never walked through on like the dry sea bottom across. So you said that never happened.
Again, because I was there was another message at the moment from YouTube. Can you please
Um,
say again, because there was another message
uh,
crossing. Yes,
I'm sorry.
excuse me.
I was just so you said that like the way that they used to talk about it where they walked through on like the dry seabed that never really happened.
It is not just that it happened in history. It's not
Okay.
something that is only historical. It happened in history, like the stories that we read about in the Bible. They have had happened, but they're not just a historical
Okay.
uh, fact.
Okay. Thank you. I
It's
understand
also
now.
a print. It's also a print that each and every one of us uh, ha- have in his life. It
Okay.
depends on our actions and decisions that this sea will open for us.
Okay. Thank you.
Also, yam, which is sea in English, refers to the sea of wisdom. So we can see around us today in the internet age that there's a lot of information and everything is so accessible. But how to open this in a way that we can cross uh, this life and still everything will be straight, not be moved by different streams or different opinions. It is not something that is valid only for historical reasons. It is our life here as well. We are also being teared. We are also, our life here is like Egypt. We are always been are being torn between poles, polarities, or between different or opposite opinions. And what do we do about it? And how do we live a better life, or life that was living? This is the question. So if a person goes through a certain confusion in his daily life, so he can ask himself, how do I go out of this? Is this reality, this daily confusion, or something that happens during the day, like trouble of the day? Are they finite, or just I cannot read the map, I cannot read the text? Also, this is the question that we see here, is that suf is also is the name of the plant called papyrus. Papyrus, and from papyrus we make paper, and sometimes not anymore, yes, because we are in internet time and all receipts are, everything is online. But how do we tear this sea of papers, that everything, we believe that everything which is written on paper is the real thing, like documents and passport. We believe that because this is how system works. So what is written on the passport, on one's person ID, this is his reality, this is his life, or there's something else. So how do we tear, in a way, the sea of confusion, or the sea of papers, or the sea of documents, and we see beyond the census, beyond the documents, what the government are defining us, or what municipality duties, and all of these things. So what is written on paper, on passport, is this the only reality? This is our definition, ID number, address, floor number. This is who we are. This is the question. How do we see beyond this documentation? Questions or thoughts or impressions that you'd like to share with us? Okay. I would like just to mention one thing. We use the word Bible, for, in English, for the Torah. This is how we call it in Hebrew, or Tanakh, the whole books that documents those deep relation to the infinite. We call it Bible, but the word Bible comes from a city port in Lebanon. In Lebanon, north to Israel, there's a city port called Byblos. Byblos. And in ancient Byblos, the Phoenicians used to go to Egypt, and this is just a side story to put us into the picture. Let's say this is Israel, this is Haifa, yes, this is Sea of Galilee. Let's say here is a bit Lebanon, and here there's a city called Byblos, or I think this is with I, not I, but I'm not sure. We can Byblos. And the Phoenicians used to be here. Here is basically Egypt. And the Phoenician, they had ancient boat. They were very developed. They used to build the first navy, and they used to go with their boats to Egypt to bring from Egypt the paper. The Egyptians used to make paper, papyrus, from the reed plant. They used to make papyrus. The reed is papyrus, and from this we make papers. And the ancient Phoenicians used to bring the paper first from Egypt to Byblos in Lebanon of our time. and then to export it to Greece. And when the paper was accepted in Greece, because Greece did not have ancient Greece a paper, a source of paper, and when the people on the shore of Greece accepted the paper that comes from Byblos, they call the paper Bible. Bible because it comes from Byblos, on the behalf of the name of the city that used to export. They call it Biblos, Bible, but actually it's paper. Do we so Bible? Do you understand the chain of words?
Yes.
So what we call now in our days Bible, according to the ancient Greeks, it's basically another name for paper. They were very happy that they have a paper, received a paper from the port of Byblos. Now there's a question on YouTube. Was it God's plan to have a temple or man's? It seems David knew God does not dwell in temples but within our hearts. Why would David still instruct his son to build a temple? Thank you so much, Kevin, for your question, because this is what I prepared for today. And I would like us to focus in one of the verses that I prepared for today from the text about why to build external temple if God dwells in people's heart. Let's go and read again. I would like us to focus in one verse. Who would like to read verse 17 as well? Verse 17 to answer unfolding Dawn's question on YouTube. I need a person to read. We need a person to read again verse 17 because I would
Okay.
like to move to the Hebrew and then open a bit the verse.
Of Exodus 15, 17.
Just 17, just verse 17 if possible.
Thou bringest them in and plantest them in the mountain of thine inheritance, the place, O Lord, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in, the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands have established.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to answer in a way Kevin's question about the temple, I would like to write the words here that the Bible use and open it. Mikdash, Mikdash, and here there's a dot in the Kuf. This is a temple. Anyway, Mikdash, Adonai konenu yadecha. 1 second, here it is. Mikdash, Adonai konenu yadecha. Yes, 1 second. There is a dot. If we look at the Hebrew, I would like to focus here on the dot of the letter Kuf here. 1 second, I have to focus here. You see there is a dot in the belly of the letter Kuf. I will make the pen thinner that I could write better to focus our eyes. Here there's a dot in the belly of the letter Kuf. There's a dot which is nothing, which has nothing to do, so to speak, with the grammatic expression of the verse. And the question is why there's a dot in the letter Kuf. What did we learn in former conversation about the dot? Do you remember? I was mentioning something about a drop, a dot, an olive, an egg. What does it symbol? Do you remember? What does a dot mean? a drop, a spot. Every dot is basically an expression of the letter Yod. 1 second. Every dot or spot is expression of the letter Yod, the 10th letter in the Hebrew alphabet, which is value is 10. And if we have, in a way, a dot in the belly of the letter Kuf, and I will color it in red, like this, it means that we can, and I will explain it because this is the word for temple. This is what Unfolding Dawn is asking on YouTube. This is a temple, a word for temple. Mikdash, Mikdash is a temple. Here, temple. But we see here a red dot. A red dot, we can take the red dot and take it as the letter Yod or as the letter Aleph. There is a code of the Hebrew letters, code which is named Ik Bachar. Ik Bachar. What does it mean? There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and one of the possible codes to read the Bible is using this code, Ik Bachar. What does it mean? The letter Aleph, which is value is 1, and the letter Yod, which is value is 10, and the letter Kof, which is value is 100, we can switch between them. This is why it calls Ik Bachar, Aleph Yod Kof, 1, 10, or 100 are the same. Bachar, again, Bet. Bet is 2. Kaf is 20. Resh is 200. Again, we can switch between them. Why? Because in a way, the 0 is out. It's not a number. So it doesn't matter if we use Bet, Chaf, or Resh, we can always exchange them. So to go back to Ik Bachar, if Aleph, Yod, and Kof can be replaced, what happens if here the author that wrote the Bible is already focuses our eyes to see that there is a dot in the belly of the letter Kof? It means it focuses us to read the Kof in a different way. In a way, I'll color it in red, and we can read the letter Kof in one of the opposite, possible ways, not just as letter Kof, but let's take Aleph. Aleph and exchange here the Kof with Aleph. Let's see what will happen. Mem, Aleph, Dalet, and I put the Shin aside that we could look into it. Me'od. Me'od is like very. But also, if we exchange the letter themselves, we can see Adam. Adam, human. And the letter Shin stands for Esh, fire, divine fire. So what is the temple? Or what is the divine fire? Human is a divine fire. And human, which is a divine fire, is the temple. And this is the answer to Kevin's question. The human heart is the temple, or the human heart carries the divine fire in his heart. And if we want to go even deeper, if we write the letter Shin with its feeling, Shin in this, how we hear it, Shin, Yod, Nun. Shin is 300, Yod is 10, Nun is 50, so Shin is 360. Now, Adam give us the value of 45. What happened when we take the 360, the Shin, the fire, and we divide it into 45? We have 8, like the Micah prophet says. I'm not sure that I'm writing it right. Micah says 8 princesses, 8 human princesses, 8 human princesses. I would like to bring the verse because this is the way to look at the 8 princes of human or human princesses. One second. Second. Micah 5:4. One second. Micah. I will copy it and I will put it here. Second. Another split of a second and it will be on the board. Here it is. I'll pull it and I'll make it bigger. And we need a volunteer to read this verse. Is it big enough or did I cut it in the... Okay, I have to make another copy. It did not catch the English. I'll bring only the English because it's too long. 1 second. I have to make another one and bring only this. One second, it moves, converts here. We need a volunteer to read this verse.
I
If it's
can read.
possible, thank you so much.
And this shall be peace when the Assyrian shall come into our land, and when he shall tread in our places, then shall we raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 princes among men.
Yes, thank you so much. Here the English Bible says 8 princesses among men, and in Hebrew it's a bit different. Is 8 human princesses. When human is a prince, like Moses was prince in Egypt. This is what it means. Because in time we have kings, and beyond time, in the 8th day, and here this is why we also meet the 8 princesses. The concept of this is in the 8th day, which is beyond time and space, because in time and space we have 7 days. 1 second, I'll move here. So this is the 8th day. In the 8th day, do we have an 8th day at the moment? Do we have 8th day in the week? This is a
No,
question. No,
no.
no. Okay, because it's beyond time and space. In the 8th day, we have, in a way, the concept of 8 human princesses. It means when human spirit governs, when human spirit governs, when spirit governs. When the spirit does not govern, so we have 7 days a week. Most of us are enslaved 6 days, and we have a couple of hours to rest. And this is it. But in the eighth day, the eight is also the infinite in a way, because if you write a number eight like this, it's infinite. In the eighth day, the spirit governs, and this is what Micah speaks here in this verse. When there's a peace of mind, we can see also beyond time and space, and the spirit governs. And when the spirit governs, there's a long-term perspective. There is a song by the Beatles, 8 days a week, I think. Because eight in Hebrew, shmone, shmone or shmona, this is eight. It's the same letters of neshama. Neshama is a soul. When the soul governs, when the soul governs. Shmone, neshama, eight, and neshama, soul, has the same letters. Also the word shmone, if the hay is feminine, and Vanreb advises to, in a way, to put the hay and the tav aside. This is shemen. Shemen is oil or anointed oil. Shemen. Shemen is oil. It's the same value as 390, like Shamayim, like heavens, heavenly perspective. And this is the reality that the prophet describes. And how did we come to this reality? From Kevin's question. Definitely the temple is a man's human's heart. This is why when nobody looks there, the best treasures are hidden in the human hearts, and there nobody looks even. People look outside. But the temple is inside. And this temple can never be destroyed. Questions or thoughts?
Um, sorry. My question, well, my thought is when we started with the Song of Moses. Um, just I don't know if it's going to take away from what we're looking at here, but when I thought about the Song of Moses, I remember being referred to in Revelation chapter 15 about the Song of Moses. Um, can you like probably highlight the connection? I see where you actually said that it's not just the crossing of the Red Sea is not just a historical event, but it's also something spiritual. And I think um, that has to be what is being played at in Revelation chapter 15. So I don't know if you could speak some more on that, or
Mhm.
if it's taken away from what we're looking at here.
Okay, thank you. And maybe you can post your question at YouTube, not at maybe at the moment because you're maybe with your head. We are all in the conversation, but maybe you can post your question in YouTube comments, and I can answer this in writing. This is one possibility at the moment, because I have to look deeply at the text.
Okay.
Okay, so this is also a possibility. Also, you can write us an email. Everything is possible. Thank you for your question. It's a very kind question. Now, Fernando is asking, if I may ask you, since Egypt could represent the sixth day, the Yam Suf is going to the seventh day, the Shabbat, where do we where we do not work. and the entering in the promised land is in the age, right? And so, can we manage to do this dynamic in our daily lives? Yes, Fernando, we can do this dynamically in our daily life. We can. We can. It demands a lot of work and focus, but we can do this in our daily life. It's not something which is a border that once we cross it, and this is a daily work. Yes, but it's possible. Yes, it's positive. It is positive. Thank you for your question. Any other impressions or questions that you would like to ask or you would like to bring forth? Here is there is a story about the temple. There is a beautiful story about building the temples. This is an ancient lore that we wrote in English in our English blog, and there's a link here, and you can click on the link if you have a YouTube open, and you can read this beautiful lore about how do we build the temple. And the temple is not something which is seen in the eyes. It's because it's in the heart. The heart we cannot see. But Fernando asked how to do this in a daily life. How do we do? Um, how do we open? How do we tear Yam Suf in our daily life? It's with a lot of cultivation. We have to. We ask ourselves if we are in the situation. What are we facing? Is not to be fed. We don't feed ourselves, excuse me, with unnecessarily stuff that float through our system. Not to accept everything. Sometimes it is good to reject things and to question them deeply and their motivations, things which are appearing in our daily life, and it's good that we are questioning their motivation. And yes, and we don't have to please anyone. This is a very, very major point, very, very deeply point. We don't have to please uh, certain members of the family because they are elderly, because they know better, because they are uncles or aunts or archetype of ancient snakes, because they're elderly, to question everything. We don't have to please anyone, really. And do not wait for a good word from a family member or relative or how do you say, a colleague at work, because once a person is motivated, and it is like remaining of our childhood that we are always waiting for a good word or approval from the surrounding, either it's from adult, a senior, a colleague. If we are how to say, if we are thirsty for a good word, and we are that thirsty that we shall enslave ourselves, this is very dangerous. So we don't have to please anyone. And this is hard. Once we understand that we don't have to please anyone, but to stick with the one, this is a very interesting shift. It doesn't happen in one day at one moment, but in it's a daily work. It's drop by drop during the day. Every moment, things are coming, and we look into them deeply and see what is the motivation. It is intensive work, uh, but it is very rewarding. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Um, in my family, of we grew up with a lot of traditions,
Hmm.
and so over time, I've began to question a lot of the traditions, so much so that
Mhm.
I had kind of removed myself from a lot of them. Um, but would that be considered going through the process that
Ye-
Fernando was talking about?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Everything is up to question. Everything is up to a question. Tradition, this is how people used to do this kind of answer. This is how people are doing this. This is how it is. This is how we're doing this for generation. This is not a conversation. And everything is up to question and to query. Yes, yes, to filter, to to clean the filter of time, because like we have an air condition and there's a filter in the air condition, and sometimes there's like thorns there and dust and all kinds of things, and then flowers and then branches, something that stick to the filter during the course of time. So we take into this filter or the lens of our life, and everything is open to question. And things which are not are not fitting our scales of value, we just put them aside. It's excuse me. This is what the stream of time, the ancients, not the ancients, but tradition or people who grew us, either by biological family or how do you say, foster families. It doesn't fit. We move it aside. And this is how we clear the way all the time. It's like when we drive a car, and it's very important that the first window where the driver sits, it's clear and there's no mud stains or dust or everything that everything that hides or conceal or block our open horizon for happiness, for sovereignty, for clear relation with the infinite, everything that shadows our lives that people used to suppress us. You will never learn, you will never be able to read, nothing will come out of you. Stay in your corner, be little, and then I can. This is the underbelly of those conversations. The tradition holds a lot of snakes inside, so everything is open for questioning. Yes. There's another question here. Thank you, Jill, for your question. There's another question or saying from Unfolding Dawn. I would also add, we we cultivate the desire to match our actions with our words. Yes, yes, regardless of positive or negative outcome. Very good. Excellent. Very good. Yes, yes. That the words and the action will be one. This is the tree of life. God says, "Vehi o, let shall be a light, Yehi-o, Vehi-o." That the speech, the way we speak and the way we act is one. There's no distortion between speaking and doing. Everything is one. This is the tree of life, the course of the tree of life. Thank you so much. And I see the question here. Karen, I see the question and I'll copy it and I will answer it. Are there any further questions at the moment?
I don't have any myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jill and Karun and Fernando and Kevin and the friends here on YouTube. Thank you so much for coming here today, asking questions and listening to our conversation. And we shall be happy to meet you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much and very good week ahead.
Thank you. Goodbye,
Thank you.
everybody. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you so much for participating today.
Okay.